Ren had spent 3 years living among humans, and he thought he understood them completely. He was wrong. The Valorian trade negotiator had arrived at Helix 9 station believing humans were a simple species. They laughed at things that were not funny. They ate food that smelled terrible. They touched each other constantly for no logical reason. They were loud, emotional, and strangely obsessed with physical games that served no purpose. Ren found them amusing at best, primitive at worst. His office on the station sat between the cargo bay and the communications hub. This meant he saw humans every single day. Sam ran the cargo logistics with casual efficiency. Nora handled communications with a patience Ren admired. Ben fixed everything that broke, which on an old station like Helix 9 meant he was always busy. They treated Ren with warmth he did not understand. Sam brought him food samples from Earth. Nora asked about his family on the Valorian homeworld. Ben once spent an entire afternoon explaining something called football, and Ren still did not understand why grown beings would chase a ball across grass. But they were kind. Ren could not deny that. His species had existed for 40,000 years without a single war. The Valorians solved problems through negotiation, compromise, and patience. Violence was not just distasteful to them. It was unthinkable. Their bodies were built for diplomacy, not combat. 6 limbs for gesture communication. Soft skin that showed emotion through color changes. Large eyes that expressed sincerity. Humans were built differently. Ren noticed this, but never thought deeply about it. Their bodies were dense with muscle. Their hands could grip with surprising force. Their teeth were designed for tearing meat. But these were just evolutionary leftovers, Ren assumed. Humans had moved beyond such primitive needs. The day everything changed started like any other. Ren was reviewing trade agreements in his office when Nora appeared at his door. Her face looked strange. Not worried exactly. Something else. Something he had no word for. Station just received a distress signal, she said. Colony world about 6 light hours from here. Ren waved a limb dismissively. Technical malfunction, most likely. The outer colonies have old equipment. Nora did not leave. She stood there, watching him with those small human eyes. Maybe, she said. Sam wants everyone in the main hub. Just in case. Ren found this unnecessary, but followed anyway. The main hub was crowded with station residents. Valorians, Tessari, Molnak, and dozens of other species milled about in confusion. The humans stood apart, clustered in small groups, speaking in low voices. Ren noticed something odd. The humans were not panicking like everyone else. They were not even nervous. They moved with a quiet purpose that seemed out of place. Sam stood near the main view screen, her arms crossed over her chest. She was a small human, barely reaching Ren's shoulder, but other humans seemed to follow her without question. What is happening? Ren asked her. Sam looked at him. Her expression was calm. Too calm. We are not sure yet. Probably nothing. Then why gather everyone? Because probably is not definitely. Before Ren could respond, the station lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then a sound filled the hub that Ren had never heard before. A proximity alarm, screaming at maximum volume. The view screen activated automatically, showing the space outside the station. Ren's blood turned to ice. Ships. Dozens of ships. They were emerging from faster-than-light travel, appearing in flashes of distorted light. The ships were not like anything Ren recognized. They were organic, covered in dark chitin, shaped like insects frozen in mid-flight. No, whispered a Tessari beside him. No, that is impossible. Ren knew what they were. Every species in the galaxy knew. The Kreth, a parasitic hive species that consumed space stations and colonies for biological material. They stripped worlds bare. They took living beings for food and reproduction. The Galactic Council had declared them extinct 200 years ago. The Council was wrong. Ren turned to run toward the escape pods. Every instinct in his body screamed at him to flee. The Kreth did not negotiate. They did not take prisoners. They only consumed. But he stopped when he realized the humans were not moving. Sam was staring at the view screen with an expression Ren could not read. Nora was speaking rapidly into her communicator. Ben was walking toward a wall panel with deliberate steps. What are you doing? Ren demanded. We must evacuate immediately. Sam turned to him. Her eyes were different now. Darker somehow. Harder. How many civilians on this station, Ren? What? I do not know. Perhaps 4,000. 4,000, Sam repeated. She nodded slowly. Then she opened the wall panel Ben had been approaching and pulled out something Ren had never seen before. A weapon. Sleek, black, and deadly looking. Where did you get that? Ren asked, his voice rising. Brought it with me, Sam said simply. Always do. More humans were appearing now, emerging from different sections of the station. All of them carried weapons. All of them wore that same strange expression. Calm. Focused. Ready. Ren looked at Sam, then at the approaching Kreth fleet, then back at Sam. What are you doing? He asked again. Sam smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Staying. She turned to Ren and placed a hand on his shoulder. Her grip was firm, warm, strong. Get the civilians to the central hub. Lock it down. Keep them quiet. And what will you do? Sam checked her weapon with practiced hands. Around her, other humans were doing the same. Whatever we have to. Ren wanted to argue. He wanted to tell her this was madness. The Kreth could not be fought. Everyone knew that, but something in Sam's eyes stopped him. Something old. Something terrifying. Whatever you hear, she said quietly, do not come back for us. The screaming started exactly 4 minutes after the Kreth ships attached to the station hull. Ren heard it through the walls as he herded civilians toward the central hub. High-pitched, terrified, the sound of beings who knew death was coming. He recognized Tessari voices, Molnak cries, and the whistling panic of species he could not identify, but he did not hear any humans. The central hub was designed for emergencies. Thick walls, independent life support, blast doors that could withstand hull breaches. Ren pushed frightened civilians through the entrance while station security tried to maintain order. Most of the security team was Valorian like himself, and they were as scared as everyone else. Seal the doors, someone shouted. Wait. Ren stopped them. There are still people in the outer sections. The Kreth are already inside. We cannot wait. Ren looked through the closing blast doors. The corridor beyond was empty except for shadows. Then the shadows moved, and Ren saw them. The Kreth. They poured through a breach in the hull like black water, their chitinous bodies clicking and scraping against metal. Each one was the size of a large human, with 6 bladed limbs and a head that was mostly mouth. The doors sealed with a heavy thud. Ren leaned against the wall and tried to breathe. His hearts were pounding so fast he could feel them in his throat. Around him, for thousands civilians huddled together in terror. Some were crying. Some were praying to gods Ren did not know. Some had simply gone silent, their minds unable to process what was happening. A Tessari elder grabbed Ren's arm. What do we do? What can we do? Ren had no answer. The Kreth did not negotiate. They did not accept surrender. When they took a station, they consumed everything alive inside it. That was simply what they did. Then the sounds began, not screaming this time. Something else. Sharp cracks that echoed through the station. Explosions. A roar that Ren realized was a human voice shouting commands. More cracks. More explosions. What is that? The Tessari asked. Ren moved to a security terminal and activated the station cameras. What he saw made his blood freeze. Corridor 7. The main passage between the outer ring and the central sections. Sam had set up her defensive line there, using cargo containers and welded metal plates as barriers. 15 humans crouched behind the barriers, weapons raised. The Kreth charged down the corridor. Hundreds of them. A black wave of blades and teeth and hunger. The humans opened fire. Ren had never seen projectile weapons in action. The Valorians had abandoned such primitive technology thousands of years ago. He understood the concept, but had never witnessed the reality. The reality was horrifying. The humans did not fire wildly. They did not panic. Each shot was aimed. Each trigger pull was deliberate. Kreth fell by the dozens, their bodies torn apart by metal traveling faster than Ren could see. But the Kreth kept coming. They always kept coming. A Kreth reached the barrier and slashed at a human named Leo. The young man ducked under the blade and shot the creature point blank. Its head exploded. Leo was already turning to shoot another before the body hit the ground. Sam moved along the line, firing and reloading with mechanical precision. She shouted something Ren could not hear, and the humans adjusted their positions instantly, as if they shared one mind. Ben had abandoned his weapon. His gun was empty, and there was no time to reload. Instead, he held a welding torch and used it like a sword, burning through Kreth that came too close. His face was splattered with alien blood, but his expression never changed. Nora worked from behind the line, dragging wounded humans to safety, handing out ammunition, coordinating through her communicator. Her voice was steady. Her hands did not shake. "They are insane," the Tessari whispered beside Ren. "They are completely insane." But Ren was not sure anymore. He watched Sam take a blade across her arm. She did not scream. She did not stop. She wrapped the wound with torn fabric while still firing with her other hand. When a human fell beside her, she closed the gap and kept fighting. This was not insanity. This was something else. The Kreth wave finally broke. The creatures pulled back, leaving hundreds of dead behind them. The corridor floor was covered in chitin and blood. Sam's voice came through the station speakers. "First wave down. Reload and prepare for the second. They will not wait long." Ren counted the humans on the camera. 11 still standing. For dead point 11 humans against the Kreth hive. A young Valorian beside Ren spoke with trembling voice. "They cannot win. There are too many Kreth. They will all die." Ren watched Sam reload her weapon. Her face was calm. Her movements were precise. She looked at the Kreth dead around her and showed no emotion at all. "I do not think they expect to win," Ren said quietly. "Then why fight?" Ren remembered what Sam had said. "For 1,000 civilians." He remembered the way she looked at the view screen when the Kreth arrived. Not with fear, not with hope, with something cold and terrible. "Because there are children on this station," Ren said. "Because they do not know how to do anything else." On the camera, the remaining humans took their positions behind the barriers. Their weapons were ready. Their faces showed nothing but focus. And somewhere in the darkness of the outer corridors, the Kreth were gathering again. Ren realized he had never truly seen humans before. He had seen masks. He had seen civilization. He had seen the face they chose to show the galaxy. Now he was seeing what was underneath, and it terrified him more than the Kreth ever could. Ren could not stop watching the cameras. That he told himself it was his duty. Someone needed to monitor the station defenses. Someone needed to track the Kreth movements. But the truth was simpler and more shameful. He was fascinated. He was horrified. He could not look away. The second wave came 20 minutes after the first. This time the Kreth tried something different. They split their forces, attacking through 3 corridors at once. They had learned from the first assault. They were adapting. The humans adapted faster. Sam split her remaining fighters into 3 groups. For humans in each corridor. She took the central position herself, the most dangerous one, the place where the most Kreth would come. Ren watched a human named Kate hold the western corridor with 3 others. She was young, barely adult by human standards. Her hands should have been shaking. Her voice should have been cracking with fear. Instead, she fired with cold precision. When her weapon jammed, she cleared it in seconds. When a Kreth breached their barrier, she pulled a knife and killed it with her bare hands. Then she wiped the blood from her eyes and returned to her position. "What are they?" a Molnak beside Ren asked. "What species does this?" Ren had no answer. In the eastern corridor, Ben led his team with brutal efficiency. He had found a new weapon somewhere, a plasma cutter meant for mining operations. It was designed to slice through rock. He used it to slice through Kreth. His team held their ground without giving an inch. But it was the central corridor that showed Ren the true nature of humans. Sam stood at the front of her line. Not behind cover. At the front. The Kreth came at her in waves, and she killed them without pause. Her weapon ran empty. She picked up another from a fallen soldier. That ran empty too. She picked up another. A massive Kreth lunged at her, larger than the others, some kind of warrior breed. Sam did not retreat. She stepped forward, under its slashing blades, and shot it through the head at point-blank range. The creature's body collapsed on top of her. She pushed it aside and kept fighting. "She is wounded," the Molnak observed. Ren could see it too. Sam's left arm hung at a bad angle. Blood soaked through her uniform in multiple places. Any Valorian would have collapsed long ago. Any sane being would have retreated. Sam did not retreat. The second wave broke like the first. More Kreth dead. More corridors painted with alien blood. Sam's voice came over the speakers again. "Report. Western corridor holding. 2 wounded. Eastern corridor holding. 1 dead. Central corridor holding." Ren counted again. 8 humans still fighting. 3 dead from this wave alone. A young human named Leo had fallen in the eastern corridor. Ren had spoken to him just yesterday. He had talked about his sister back on Earth, about his plans to visit her when his rotation ended. Now he was dead, and the humans did not mourn. They stepped over his body, closed the gap in their line, and prepared for the third wave. No tears, no moment of silence, no hesitation at all. Why do they not grieve? Atessari asked Ren. They will grieve later, Ren said, though he was not sure that was true. Right now they have no time. The third wave came faster than expected. The Kreth had called reinforcements from their ship. Fresh soldiers poured into the station, filling the corridors with clicking chitin and hungry screams. The humans were exhausted. Ammunition was running low. Bodies were breaking down. They kept fighting anyway. Ren watched Nora do something he could not believe. She sealed herself in a corridor filled with Kreth and vented it to space. 50 creatures died instantly, sucked into the void. Nora barely escaped through a maintenance hatch. She rejoined the fight 30 seconds later. That was suicide, the Molnak said. She almost died. She knew the risk, Ren replied. She did it anyway. By the time the third wave ended, only 6 humans remained. Sam, Ben, Nora, Kate, and 2 others Ren did not know. They were covered in blood, both human and Kreth. Their weapons were nearly empty. Their bodies were failing, but they were still standing. Sam gathered them in the central corridor. Ren watched her speak to them, though he could not hear the words. The humans nodded. Some smiled, actually smiled, as if this was all some terrible joke. Then they took their positions again and waited. Ren understood something in that moment. The humans were not trying to survive. They knew they were going to die. They had known it from the moment the Kreth arrived. They were buying time. Every minute they held the Kreth back was another minute for the civilians in the central hub. Every life they took was one less creature that would reach the children hiding behind sealed doors. The humans were not fighting to win. They were fighting to make the Kreth pay such a terrible price that even victory would taste like ashes, and they were succeeding. Ren looked at the camera feeds showing the outer corridors. Kreth bodies lay everywhere. Hundreds of them. Perhaps thousands. A force that should have overwhelmed the station in minutes had been ground down to bloody remains. 0.6 humans had done this. 0.6 humans were about to do more. On the main camera, Sam raised her weapon and faced the darkness where more Kreth were gathering. Her voice came through the speakers, calm and steady. They are coming again. Make every shot count. The 6 humans did not respond with words. They simply raised their weapons and waited. Ren finally understood what he was watching. Not a battled AN execution. The Kreth just did not know they were the ones being executed. 6 became 5. Then 4. Ren watched it happen through the cameras. A human named Davis fell holding a corridor junction. He died with his fingers still on the trigger, taking 4 Kreth with him in his final seconds. Grace fell next. The older woman had handed out ammunition during the first wave. Now she lay still in the eastern corridor, her body covering a breach she had defended until her last breath. 4 humans remained. Sam, Ben, Nora, Kate. The Kreth should have been celebrating. They had killed nearly 20 humans. Their path to the central hub was almost clear. Victory was within reach, but the Kreth were not celebrating. Ren could see it in the camera feeds. The creatures had stopped their mindless charging. They moved more carefully now, checking corners, advancing in smaller groups. They had learned to fear the narrow corridors. They had learned to fear the shadows. They had learned to fear humans. Something is wrong, the Molnak beside Ren said. The Kreth are behaving strangely. Ren nodded. The hive species did not show fear. Their minds were connected to their queen, who directed them without emotion. Individual Kreth did not feel terror. They could not. Yet something was making them hesitate. Sam gathered her 3 remaining soldiers at the final defensive line. The corridor leading to the central hub. The last barrier between the Kreth and 4,000 civilians. They had built the barricade from everything they could find. Cargo containers, welded plates, the bodies of dead Kreth stacked like sandbags. It was ugly and desperate and strong. The 4 humans took their positions. They did not speak. They did not need to. Ren activated the audio feed. He needed to hear what happened next. The Kreth came, not in a wave this time. They walked slowly, deliberately, testing the ground with each step. The mindless hunger was gone. Something else had taken its place. Sim fired first. A single shot that dropped the lead Kreth instantly. The others did not charge. They spread out, using cover, moving like soldiers instead of insects. They are learning, Nora said. Her voice was hoarse but steady. Then we teach them a harder lesson, Sam replied. The battle became something different. Not a desperate defense against overwhelming numbers. A tactical exchange between two forces that respected each other's lethality. The Kreth advanced in coordinated pushes. The humans responded with precise counterfire. Bodies fell on both sides. Kate took a blade across her back. She turned and killed her attacker, then fell to one knee. Ben dragged her behind cover while Nora laid down suppressing fire. I can still shoot, Kate said through gritted teeth. Then shoot, Sam replied. Kate propped herself against a container and raised her weapon. Blood pooled beneath her, but her hands did not shake. The Kreth pulled back again. They had lost another 30 soldiers. The humans had lost none, but Kate was fading fast. They are going to try something different, Ben said. They have to. This is costing them too much. He was right. The next attack came from above. Kreth had cut through the ceiling, dropping into the corridor behind the human line. Suddenly the defenders were surrounded, enemies in front and behind. Nora spun and fired at the new threat. 2 Kreth fell. 3 more came through the hole. Ben abandoned his position and charged into the rear attack. He had no weapon left. He used his fists, his boots, his teeth. Ren watched a human fight like an animal, tearing into Kreth with nothing but rage and muscle. Sam held the front alone. Her weapon clicked empty. She pulled a pistol and kept firing. The pistol ran dry. She picked up a Kreth blade from a fallen enemy and used it to kill the next creature that came close. Get behind me, she shouted to Kate. Kate could not stand. She fired from the ground, covering Sam's flank. Her shots were slower now, weaker, but still accurate. The ceiling attack failed. Ben stood in a pile of dead Kreth, breathing hard, covered in blood that was mostly not his own. He picked up a fallen weapon and returned to the line. Status? Sam asked. Alive, Ben said. Same, Nora added. Kate did not answer. She had stopped moving. 3 humans now. 3 against the hive. Ren found himself standing. His limbs were trembling. His hearts were racing. Come on, he whispered. Come on. He did not know who he was talking to. The humans could not hear him. They would not have listened anyway. Sam looked at Kate's body. For just 1 second, something crossed her face. Pain, grief, loss. Then it was gone, replaced by that terrible calm. Close the gap, she said. Ben and Nora moved to fill Kate's position. 3 weapons now covered the corridor. 3 exhausted, bleeding, broken humans stood between the Kreth and 4,000 civilians. The Kreth gathered again. More this time. Ren counted at least 100 in the shadows. Sam raised her weapon and aimed at the darkness. They think they have won, she said quietly. They think we are finished. Ben checked his ammunition. Maybe we are. Maybe. Sam smiled. That cold, terrible smile Ren had seen before. But we are not dead yet. And until we are dead, we fight. Nora laughed. Actually laughed. They picked the wrong station. The 3 humans stood shoulder to shoulder, weapons raised, facing death with something that looked almost like joy. Ren did not understand. He was beginning to think he never would. The Queen came. Ren saw her on the cameras, emerging from the Kreth mothership through a boarding tunnel. She was massive, 3 times the size of her soldiers, her chitin gleaming with iridescent colors. Behind her walked her elite guard, 20 warriors, each one larger and more heavily armored than the common soldiers. The Queen had decided to end this personally. No, Ren whispered. No, no, no. The 3 humans could not possibly survive this. They had fought off hundreds of Kreth, but the elite guard was something else entirely. These were the creatures that had torn through armored warships. These were the monsters that had consumed entire colonies. Sam saw them coming. Her expression did not change. Big ones, Ben said. I see them. What is the plan? Sam adjusted her grip on her weapon. Kill them all. Ben laughed. It was not a sane sound. The elite guard advanced in formation, shields raised, moving with terrifying coordination. Behind them, the Queen watched with compound eyes that showed no emotion. Sam fired first. Her shot bounced off the lead guard's armor without leaving a mark. Armored, Nora said. Aim for the joints, Sam replied. Eyes, mouths, anywhere soft. The humans adjusted their aim and fired again. This time a guard stumbled, clutching at its face. But the others kept coming, closing the distance with each step. They are too fast, Nora said. Then we slow them down. Sam pulled something from her belt. a small cylinder with blinking lights. She armed it and threw it at the advancing guards. The explosion tore through the corridor. When the smoke cleared, 3 elite guards lay dead. The others had taken damage but were still advancing. 17 remained. Only 1 grenade. Ben asked. Used the others earlier. The guards reached the barricade. One of them swung a massive blade at Sam. She ducked under it and jammed her weapon into the creature's mouth. The shot blew through the back of its skull. Ben was fighting 2 guards at once. He had abandoned his gun for a metal bar, using it to deflect their attacks while looking for openings. When one guard overextended, he drove the bar through its eye socket. Nora fought with cold efficiency. She did not dodge or dance. She stood her ground and killed anything that came within reach. Her weapon was empty, so she used a knife. The knife broke, so she used the broken blade. When that was gone, she used her hands. Ren watched 3 humans fight 20 elite guards. He watched them lose. Ben went down first. A guard caught him across the chest, tearing through armor and flesh. He fell but kept fighting from the ground, grabbing a guard's leg and stabbing upward with a piece of shrapnel. Nora fell next. 3 guards overwhelmed her position, and she disappeared beneath their blades. Sam stood alone. She was bleeding from a dozen wounds. Her weapon was empty. Her knife was broken. She had nothing left but her fists, and her rage. 8 elite guards surrounded her. Submit. The queen spoke through her soldiers. Her voice was like grinding metal. You have fought well. I will make your death quick. Sam looked at the guards. She looked at the bodies of her friends. She looked at the corridor behind her, where 4,000 civilians waited in terror. Then she smiled. You want this station? She said. Come and take it. She charged. Ren screamed. He actually screamed, pounding on the console as if he could help her somehow. Sam moved through the guards like water through rocks. She was not fighting anymore. She was dancing. She used their size against them, slipping between their clumsy strikes, finding the soft places in their armor. 1 guard fell. Then another. Sam took a blade through her shoulder. She broke it off and used it as a weapon. 2 more guards fell. The queen shrieked in rage. Her elite warriors were dying, killed by a single human who should have been dead hours ago. Sam killed another guard. And another. When she finally fell, only 2 guards remained standing. She lay on the floor of the corridor, surrounded by dead Kreth, her blood pooling beneath her. The guards raised their blades for the killing blow. Then the station shook. Ren looked at a different camera and felt his heart stop. A human fleet had arrived. 3 warships were tearing through the Kreth mothership with weapons Ren had never seen. Plasma cannons, railguns, missile batteries that turned the void into fire. The queen screamed orders. Her soldiers began retreating, abandoning the station, rushing back to defend their ship. But it was too late. The human warships were not just attacking. They were annihilating. The Kreth mothership broke apart under the assault, spilling bodies and debris into space. The remaining guards fled. They left Sam lying in her own blood, alone among the dead. Ren did not wait for permission. He unsealed the central hub doors and ran. He found Sam exactly where she had fallen. Her eyes were closed. Her chest barely moved. Help! Ren screamed. Someone help. Human soldiers were already coming through the corridors, securing the station, searching for survivors. That a medic reached Sam and began working frantically. She is still alive, the medic said. Barely. Get her to the ship now. Ren watched them carry Sam away. Her face was peaceful, almost content. She had held the line. Whatever else happened, she had held the line. 3 weeks later, Ren stood in a hospital corridor on a human colony world and tried to understand what he had witnessed. The Galactic Council had sent representatives. They wanted testimony. They wanted data. They wanted to know how a small group of humans had done what no army in the galaxy had ever accomplished. They wanted to know how 15 humans had broken the Kreth. Ren gave them his testimony. He told them everything he had seen. The weapons made from station equipment. The tactical coordination. The absolute refusal to retreat or surrender. The council members listened with expressions Ren could not read. This is troubling, a Tessari representative said. We believed humans were a peaceful species. They are peaceful, Ren replied. That is what makes them so terrifying. The representative did not understand. Ren did not expect her to. After the council session, Ren went to visit Sam. She was sitting up in her hospital bed, reading something on a datapad. Her wounds had been treated, but the scars would remain. Humans apparently chose to keep their scars. They said it reminded them of survival. Ren. She smiled when she saw him. A real smile this time. Warm. Friendly. The same smile she had given him 100 times on the station. How are you feeling? He asked. Alive. Which is more than I expected. Ren sat in the chair beside her bed. For a long moment, he said nothing. He did not know how to ask the question that had been burning in his mind. Sam waited. Humans were patient when it mattered. How? Ren finally asked. How did you do it? How did you know how to fight like that? Sam set down her datapad. Her expression became thoughtful. We have always known, she said. We just hoped we would never have to remember. I do not understand. Sam was quiet for a moment. Then she began to speak. My species evolved on a death world, Ren. Everything on our planet tried to kill us. The predators, the weather, the diseases, even the plants. We spent our entire history fighting to survive. Fighting each other, fighting nature, fighting anything that threatened our existence. She looked at her scarred hands. We carry 10,000 years of war in our genes. Every human alive today is descended from survivors, from warriors, from people who refused to die, no matter what came against them. But you seemed so peaceful, Ren said. You laughed. You played games. You were kind. We are kind. We choose to be kind. Every single day, we choose peace instead of war. We choose to build instead of destroy. We choose to help instead of hurt. She met his eyes. That choice is the hardest thing we do. Every human you meet is fighting a battle you cannot see. The battle against our own nature. Against the thing inside us that knows how to kill. Ren remembered watching Sam fight. The cold efficiency. The mechanical precision. The complete absence of fear. The thing I saw on the station, he said slowly. That was not desperation. That was something you have always carried. Yes. And you hide it. From everyone. We hide it because we are ashamed of it. Because we want to be better than our ancestors. Because we came to the stars hoping to leave that darkness behind. Sam leaned back against her pillow. But we never forgot. We can never forget. It is part of who we are. Ren thought about the humans he had known. Sam bringing him food samples. Nora asking about his family. Ben explaining football with patient enthusiasm. All that kindness. All that warmth. Wrapped around something ancient and terrible. The council is afraid of you now, Ren said. They are discussing restrictions. Limitations on human military access. Sam nodded. I know. Does that bother you? No. She smiled again. Fear is a reasonable response. We are dangerous. We know that better than anyone. Then why fight? Why risk revealing what you really are? Sam looked at him as if the answer was obvious. Because there were children on that station. Because you were on that station. Because when the Kreth came, running was not an option. You could have escaped. The pods were available. And leave 4,000 people to die? Sam shook her head. That is not who we choose to be. Ren sat in silence for a long time, but he thought about fear. He thought about choice. He thought about the terrible beauty of a species that carried war in their blood but chose peace with every breath. I am going to include something in my official report, he said finally. What? I am going to tell the council that humans are not the peaceful traitors they pretend to be. I am going to tell them that humans are the most terrifying species I have ever encountered. Sam's expression flickered. But I am also going to tell them this. The humans are not warriors who learn kindness. They are kindness wrapped around something ancient and terrible. And I thank every star in the sky that they consider us friends. Sam's eyes glistened. She reached out and took Ren's hand. Thank you, she said softly. Ren held her hand and felt the strength in her grip. The strength she had used to kill. The strength she was using now, so gently, to express gratitude. I did not know true terror until I watched humans fight, Ren said. Now I pray I never see it again. But I also know this. If terror ever comes for my people, I hope humans are standing beside us. Sam squeezed his hand. We will be, she said. Always. And Ren believed her.